Welcome back, everybody. Today we're doing a field review because I just got this little firearm in. And what is this thing? It's the Daniel Defense DDM4 PDW. So I got my hands on this for the first time down at the Big Daddy Unlimited shoot and was able to put a few rounds through one of their prototype guns down there. But I requested that one be sent out as soon as they were in production because I think it's a pretty cool concept, and we're going to walk you through why that is here in just a second. But of course, one of the overall features that is just really cool and a lot of folks are going to like is that in the collapse position with the factory blast deflector on there, the firearm itself is under 21 inches long. So it's going to fit in a lot of backpacks, things like that. And I think a lot of people are going to be interested in the concept. So right now we mounted up the Bowers Group War Dog and a ACSS Cyclops 1X. And what we're going to do first, before getting into all the different details of the pistol here, is we're going to go check out the velocity that you're going to get out of this barrel from a few different loads. Then we're going to do some accuracy testing, do some more shooting, and then come back and sort of walk through it step by step and let you know what this gun is all about. With the short barrel, I'm sure there's going to be some folks wondering about velocity, so we're going to get some quick velocity here for a few different loads. In the gun right now, we have some Fiocchi, 150 grain, just FMJ stuff, practice stuff. We'll see what kind of readings we get. The chronograph's downrange at 10 yards, so we're essentially getting muzzle velocity here. Next up, we'll run some subs. This is the Gemtech 208 grain with the AMAX bullet. And then on the end, if I haven't said it already, we have the Bowers War Dog on there. Next up is going to be some 120 grain. This is a Federal all copper bullet here. It's a nasty little hunting load. And then here we have some Gorilla 110 grain controlled chaos, nasty round as well. Once again, that's an all copper bullet. All right, let's move on to accuracy. For the accuracy portion, we have a target downrange at 100 yards. Scope we're using is the primary arms Griffin Mill Platinum 1:8, so plenty of magnification, great class. And the ammo in the gun right now is the Fiocchi 150 grain, just practice stuff. And we have a CTK precision rest and a fancy sock full of sand. And we'll see what we can do. I should also point out that right now, the rifle or pistol, whatever you want to call it, only has approximately 100 rounds through it. So for folks that believe in like barrel seasoning, it's not quite there. But I don't really think it'll make much of a difference, particularly not on a cold hammer forged chrome lined barrel, but we'll see. So when I was attempting to check the suppressor there for just to make sure it was on, I loosened it first. So that's not a Bowers thing, that's a me being retarded thing. But I tightened it back up, just want to make sure it's snug again. And we're good. All right, next up we're gonna fire the subsonic. This is again the Gemtech 208 grain stuff. Hopefully it's in the camera frame that I set up downrange, but that was hitting low. I was aiming at the top right square, lower left portion of it, for those wondering. And some of those hit off paper. So significant difference there in terms of supers and subs at point of impact. Not unexpected. So next up will be that 110 grain Gorilla stuff. Now I'm paranoid with that can, because I loosened it. 110 grain Gorilla. Just trying to make sure everything's tight, guys. That's typically a pretty accurate load. Everything's tight. Not sure what happened there. I guess it just doesn't like that load for whatever reason. Lastly, we have the 120 grain. This is, again, federal stuff, all copper, lead free. Let's go check them out. The first group up, of course, is that Fiocchi stuff. That might be our best group of the day. And we're right at 1.5 inches center to center on that one. Then we went over to the the 208 grain Gemtech, which also doesn't look too bad now that you guys can actually see it with the camera here. We're right at 1.75 inches on that one. Then we came up here at the 110 grainers and definitely opened up. At 3.5 inches with that one. Sorry about the wind, guys. And then the 120 grain federal over right at 3 inches. So like anything, but particularly 300 black, make sure you find the load that works with your gun. According to my analytics, about 80% of you guys that are watching this video are not actual subscribers to my channel. So I'm going to reiterate something I've said many times here. And that is, in my experience, which is pretty vast at this point with 300 blackout, either barrels, pistols, rifles, whatever the case may be, I generally speaking just don't see really good accuracy out of it. When I say really good, I mean MOA or better. It's not something I consistently see here. And this one is going to be on that list as well. However, what I have said in the past and will stand by here is that they should be able to shoot at least 2 MOA. And as you saw, we had a couple groups there do that. Again, with any barrel, you need to find the loads that it likes. And this one here, again, it's 7 inches long. It has that strength to weight profile, so that taper all the way down. We do have a pinned gas block on there, which certainly is nice. The barrel itself is cold hammer forged. It's chrome lined. And one thing that's different about Daniel Defense versus most cold hammer forging companies is that they actually forge the receiver extension into it. So that way when it's stress relieved, everything's even and there's no sort of issues of parts being stress relieved differently. So you get a really consistent barrel, and you're going to get a really long barrel life as well, particularly with 300 blackout in a barrel of this length. Now it does have a 1 in 7 twist. Some of the sort of, I don't want to say ultra short, but shorter than normal 300 blackout barrels out there are going to have a faster twist rate. Like the SIGs, for example, I think they have a 1 in 5. So 1 in 7 is still fast for 300 blackout, but it's not as fast as some others out there that may play a part into not liking some of the lighter weight stuff that you guys saw today. I don't know about that. Honestly, it's going to take more different loads and grouping a bunch of different rounds to really be able to say confidently one way there either way. So, all right, getting into the details of the gun. So it comes with a blast deflector. I'm not a huge fan of blast deflectors, but some folks are, also known as flash cans. Essentially the theory on it is that it's going to push the blast and a lot of the sound forward and not have it come back at the shooter's ear. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, just not a huge fan personally. So we threw the War Dog on there, which is a short little can. I think it kind of fits well in this configuration. It looks pretty sick, at least in my opinion. And then again, moving on back, we already talked about the barrel pinned gas block. We hit on that. It does come with this hand stop. Now the hand stop as it comes is actually all the way forward. And what that's doing is to prevent you from putting your hand in front of the muzzle. So that way you don't accidentally Swiss cheese your hand. And I think that is a good idea by the folks at Daniel Defense. Anytime you get a really short firearms, that's a possibility. So something to be aware of if you're looking at something like this. But the rail here is a 6-inch rail. It's very similar in terms of how it locks up to the V7, which is a fantastic system. I've said that before many times. It has these different levels here, and these screws go all the way through it. I did check the screws. They are Loctited down, which is nice. Up here at the offset positions, we do have quick detach sling swivel points as well as M-LOK, and we have M-LOK at the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock positions as well. Down here at the bottom offset positions, it is not M-LOK. I would imagine that's just done for weight savings. And speaking of that, this gun without any accessories on there comes in at 5.7 pounds. So it's really lightweight as well, particularly given the barrel that it has there. But that's the MFR XL 6.0 rail. I would imagine these are going to be on some future models as well, because it's a pretty cool looking little configuration. Continuing on back, our upper and lower receiver are both made of forged 7075 T6 aluminum. They have Type 3 hard anodizing on there. We have our shell deflector, forward assist, which I do like. Tapping it makes me happy. I know some of you guys may not like it. It comes with Daniel Defense's 32 round magazine, which I really do like. I've not ever had a single issue with these. For 300 Blackout, I have ran these both with supers and subsonics. Again, to date, I've not had a single issue with them. They have a good texture to them. I'm a fan of them. Again, not having an issue. That's what you want with magazines. So we do have our polymer dust cover. Some folks don't like that. I have zero issues with it. It functions. And one thing to note is that the actual charging handle on there is Daniel Defense's new charging handle. So it's ambidextrous. You can run it either way, from the right or the left side. It has that little gas busting raised portion there on the rear, which prevents gas from coming into your face rather when you're firing it suppressed. I definitely do like that. Over here on the left side of the receiver, we do have an enhanced or enlarged paddle release. Again, I'm a fan of that as well. The brace that we have on here, and I should note that it does come in both pistol configuration, as you see here, as well as SBR from the factory. This is the Maxim Defense PDW brace. It's kind of hard to deploy with one hand. There you go. But all the way back, that's how it looks. And then, of course, you just push these little two tabs here to have it collapse down. And back here on the rear of the brace, we also have a quick attach sling swivel point. Now, one thing to note is that in the collapse position, these arms here do go forward, and they do in some way inhibit activating the safety. Now, I'll tell you, it's absolutely usable in this position. You can use it without issue. However, it's not as easy, I guess you could say, as it would be if those bars weren't there. Now, the safety itself is ambidextrous. That's nice. I like it. I know some people aren't fans. The grip itself is Daniel Defense's proprietary grip, which comes with an integrated enlarged trigger guard there. I do like that as well. Some folks don't like the rubber overmold on there. I'm not a huge fan of rubber overmold myself, particularly in the heat, but if it's not hot conditions, I have zero issues with it. Disassembling the pistol is just like any other AR out there. Of course, you're going to want to make sure it's clear. At this point, just remove your two takedown pins, and your upper and lower receiver will come apart. I can actually do it there on camera. Now, in the rear here, one thing you'll notice is that it does have a H1 buffer from the factory. That's nice in my opinion. Daniel Defense's triggers, I've mentioned this in the past. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier during the accuracy portion, but mil-spec trigger. However, in terms of mil-spec, they're on the heavy side. And one reason I personally believe that is Daniel Defense is all about reliability. That's something they absolutely pride themselves on, which is good. It's one of the reasons I really like their products. But because of that, the trigger tends to be, again, a little bit heavy. It breaks right around 7 pounds. So again, heavy for sure. You know, the mil-spec range is like 5, 6, 7-ish pounds, depending on the spring set that you're running there, but a little bit heavy. It's nice and crisp though, has a good reset as you would expect from a mil-spec trigger, so no issues at all in that regard. I should also point out that we do have a flared magazine wall on there. One thing I really like, and I harp on that a lot in videos as well. And then our bolt carrier group, again, one of the industry standards in terms of bolt carrier groups. It's full auto profile, has our chrome lined gas key, as well as a portion that the actual bolt itself rides in there. We have good staking on the gas key. The bolt itself is made out of 158 Carpenter steel. It's MP and HP tested. And again, for those who are new, that's magnetic particle inspecting, as well as proof testing. So they fire a proof round, which is a high pressure round. And then after that, they take a magnetic particle inspector and inspect it for any sort of cracks that you can't detect with your naked eye to make sure that all the metal is still intact, good to go as it should be, and that there's no weak points in there. And of course, full auto profile, I mentioned that 8620 on the actual carrier material. Of course, our barrel extension has M4 feed ramps as well, T-marked all the way on the upper as well as on the rail for those of you guys who are into that as well. Unfortunately, we're losing light pretty fast out here. The camera actually makes it look much brighter than it actually is. So we'll wrap the video up with my closing thoughts here. So again, reliability has been 100%, again, exactly as you would expect from Daniel Defense. Cost, which is always an important factor as well. I didn't touch on that yet. So MSRP, as of right now, is $1,800 for the pistol version. I think the SBR version, which also uses a Maxim stock, is a little bit more than that. But street price, you'll see it under that, of course. And as soon as I have a link for it, we'll put it down below in the video comments, or pinned in the comments rather, or in the video description, depending on where you're actually watching this. But it's not cheap, but it's not you know, Gucci expensive either. There's a lot of $4,000 AR-15s out there. So Daniel Defense makes a really good product. They have a great reputation. So it's a quality firearm. It may be, you know, more expensive than some folks want, and other folks are going to have zero issues at all in terms of that cost. Now, what do I think of it in terms of what do I see the role being? Well, again, a backpack gun definitely could be at under 21 inches collapsed if you're not using a can. Even with a little can like this, we're probably right now at about 24 inches. That's a lot of firepower and versatility that you get out of a little package like that. So if you're using supers, again, definitely just use the right load in terms of accuracy as well as foot-pounds of energy and things like that downrange. And if you like subs for 300 blackout, well, you're really not losing anything with that reduced barrel length there at all. So, I mean, I think, like I've said before, 300 blackout, super versatile, and options like this just kind of add to that versatility. There's tons of different options that you could use it for, anything from hunting, home defense, backpack gun, or just a range toy, whatever the case may be. If you guys have any questions about this little pistol here, by all means, you can post down below in the comment section. If you actually need an answer to that question, the best place to reach me is over at my Facebook page. As always, sometimes it takes me a couple of days to get back to folks, but I do get back to everybody over there. I don't always see the comments here on YouTube or elsewhere that you may be watching this video. Thank you very much for watching, regardless of your subscription status. But if you're new here and you like what you saw, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I look forward to seeing all of you guys in the next video.